Welcome to another episode of The Hook, brought to you by Adventures Americana. I'm your host, Andy Ellis. Today I'm joined by Wisconsin native and singer-songwriter Logan Metz, who is releasing the music and embarking on a few tours. Logan, thanks for doing this.
Hey, thank you for having me, Andy.
Uh, so like I said before, you are hitting the road in the Midwest and overseas. Can you talk about those tours?
Yes, a couple of shows around my beautiful home region, the Midwest, going up to the Twin Cities first, doing Minneapolis at a place called Greenway Studios, like a listing room vibe thing, which is going to be very cool. Another one out in Cambridge at Happy Productions, and then finally the Metronome Brewery, which is a cool like jazz club with a grand piano. So, that one will be with a full quartet. So will Happy Productions. Oh boy, then I do Appleton, Rockford, Illinois, and then back over to Minnesota at Ed's No Name Bar. So that's the little Midwest chunk, and then right from there I fly to the UK to open for my dear friend Jazz DeLorean, who is a pianist and a songwriter and a singer, and his band is called Tankus, and they are incredible. And they just released a very cool record that everyone should listen to. So I am stoked to open for them. That's like a real treat. And I love the UK. So that brings me to the end of April. And that's as far as my life goes right now. But that's the tour. Yeah.
So you have a new project coming out to you. I've been able to listen to it. I love it. Called Chimney Rock. How did this one start taking shape for you?
So this EP is kind of the first little trickle release of this big album I got cooking for later in the year. And the Chimney Rock EP is kind of a sampler platter of what this record is going to be. And it's all from the same session. I went out to LA, recorded it with a lot of members of Promise of the Real, my old band, with the great Tony Lagerfo on the drums, Tato Melgar on percussion, incredible bass player named John Avila, who has played with Promise of the Real before when Corey McCormick was off on breaks, and he also is famous for playing with Oingo Boingo, incredible bass player. Bunch of other people, co-wrote a lot of it with my dear friend Lincoln Mendel, and we recorded it out in LA at the Village Studios in 5 days, I think. There's horns and strings. It was a big old thing, and we did 10 tracks. I'm releasing the first five of them as the Chimney Rock EP, which I think I'm just going to do as physical media. I'm trying to, everyone's trying to kind of kick the Spotify habit, and the music industry is changing, and so part of me feels like I'm better off going door to door selling these things like a Girl Scout than putting it online. So I'm trying different things. I'm trying to, you know, experiment with the culture a little bit. So this is a very special little EP, and you got to come to one of my shows to get it.
So one thing I'm curious about is because you did mention your formerly of Lucas Nelson Promise of the Real. You know, going into these sessions now with the experiences you've had, did that cause you to approach these sessions differently or like raise the bar to a certain level now that you've kind of had that experience?
Yes, yes. I am a way better musician than I was when I joined Promise of the Real. I mean, it was 7 years of like intense touring on the road, including like times when we would be about to go on stage and Lucas would say, "Oh, by the way, this famous person is going to join us, whoever, and we're going to play this song that you've never heard before," and just have to kind of like deal with it and learn it on the fly. So, and just generally playing that much, your chops get better. And then not only that, I'm really comfortable playing with Tony and Tato and John Avila as well, because we've all played together before. So there's this kind of natural um, synergy that we have from playing together, including just vibing in the studio and it being very comfortable to be around each other. But yes, the caliber of this one, it's been 10 years since I released any of my own music. So I also kind of wanted to pull out all of the stops to have the first thing I release post Promise of the Real be really special. So I broke the bank on it. I did, like I said, there's string quartet, there's all, ton of work, and spared no expense, both financially and in terms of mental health, to get this thing done. Um, but yeah, I think everything from the songwriting to the production value to the performances, I think everything is a huge level up for me. I'm really really proud of how this thing sounds.
Yeah, but and when I was listening to some of it, I just feel like, I feel your New Orleans influence there. I feel more I think last time we talked, I said I kind of got a real kind of Randy Newman vibe from you as well. And I just feel like this, I don't know, it's just you really captured that in what I've heard so far.
Thank you. Yeah, Overrated definitely has New Orleans feels. Those horn players are insanely good. There's like a kind of weird minor spooky breakdown in it where we just said like improvise, do a weird like minor key Dixie thing, and they just did that. They just can pull it out. I mean, it's the musicians that really made this thing. So, but yeah, I love me some Randy Newman. He's definitely a growing influence on me, and all the piano songwritery types. There's some definite Leon Russell influence
Hmm.
too. There's a song that's not out yet, but you've heard, called Christiania,
Hmm.
which is very very Leon influenced the band. It's a lot more kind of eclectic in my in terms of my influences than my last record too. But Randy Newman is, he's like my number one. Him and Tom Waits. So
And so one of your first new singles is Sunrise. Has a
yeah,
very warm feel to it. Love the keys. I love that sax part. How'd this one come about?
Sunrise. Yeah, that sax part's crazy. And that's the same guy that played clarinet on Overrated. His name is Kyle O'Donnell, and I just got to shout out all these musicians as they come to me because I'm so lucky to have had them. He was on my last record too, and his improvising is just insane because those are some weird chords under that solo, and he killed it. So I'm glad that spoke to you. It spoke to me as well. Anyway, Sunrise was kind of a long time. It's one of these melodies I caught years ago and just recorded it into my phone, and then like once in a while you go through and see if you have any spare parts that you can turn into a song, and that was kind of one of them. It was very unrecognizable for you know compared to how it turned out, but um I got it on a Mexican beach called Yelapa in 2021, something like that. 22, can't remember. But I didn't develop it until last year. Last April, as I was putting together songs for the record, I started writing it um, while driving around Wisconsin because it's all about the kind of cycle of chaotic, anxious thought that happens to me. It is semi autobiographical, especially while driving. I tend to drive in silence. I don't listen to music or anything when I drive, which I know is very weird, but it is. So it's that. It's about that. It's a very introspective song. It's maybe the most honest song I've ever written. Those are my real fears and my real thoughts and things like that. But anyway, so I started it and then brought my co-writer Lincoln Mandel aboard, and then whenever he comes in, the whole thing takes on a new life. Like a lot of that mid-section, that solo section, are very Lincoln Mandel chords. Uh, and the last verse we wrote together, we were in England actually, hanging out, walking the streets of Oxford, and just like tossing lyrics back and forth. So that was the actual like process of writing it. Goes way back, but yeah, that's Sunrise. I'm really proud of that one. I really like how the lyrics tumble out. I also like how nothing happens in that song, actually. It's like a big epic thing and it goes through all these different movements, but it all takes place in the narrator's head. And, um, and the only thing that actually happens is he drives and then a woman puts her hand on his. And those are the only actual things that happen. The rest is all internal in that song. So I think that's an interesting approach uh, to, to, to a song that I've never taken before, but seems to people seem to relate to it, that spiraling anxious thought thing. So I tried to capture that lyrically and musically.
So before I let you go, I gotta ask you more about Overrated.
Okay.
The song really puts me in that New Orleans feel, that kind of Big Easy feel in a sense. It's to me, it's very humorous actually. And can you talk about this song and making the chorus different each time?
Sure, yeah. Man, that's it. That one's kind of an old one too. I wrote that a while ago, but I'm always tweaking things. But definite New Orleans feel. Definitely got that Randy Newman thing, and it's an anti-love song. It's one of those mean ones. Sometimes you just got to write a mean one. Started as just a piano ditty that I did, and I guess if you call it a chorus, "You're overrated too" is the only thing that really repeats, but then the things that are overrated change each time. So it's hard to distinguish that one between like a verse and a chorus because it's all kind of a fluid train of thought. But the New Orleansy, that sound really again came out in the performances of these horn players, the arrangement that Lincoln did as well. He arranged most of those horns, if I remember correctly, and um, and just having great players that can capture that New Orleans sound because that's not something you can fake, that New Orleans thing. But I don't, and it is a straight up comedy song, like you pointed out. I mean, it's I don't want to call it a novelty song because I do, I think it weighs a little more than just like a silly tune. Like that is, it's also a legitimate feeling that I think could speak to people or spoke to me anyway. But yeah, I like songs that make me laugh. It's another reason I love Randy Newman. It's another reason I love Tom Waits, and not just. I mean, Weird Al has been one of the biggest influences of my life since I was a child. Flight of the Conchords is unironically one of my favorite bands. I mean, I just I people seek different emotions from music, and I get that. But what I love is when it makes me laugh, and it doesn't even have to be a comedy song, like an unlikely blues lick or something. Or Ray Charles makes me laugh when he does some vocal things because it's just so improbable that these sounds are happening, and it's just my reaction is to laugh. Um, and so I think that it was, maybe the pursuit of that too. I know a song is good if it makes me laugh. Wolfpack as well is another example of a band I really like, who's just musically just things that are so just unlikely that my gut reaction is to laugh. So I've always enjoyed like putting a little comedy in my songs. Throughout the whole album, I don't, there are a couple of heavy ones, but at least every song has something, I think, or not at least every, that doesn't make sense. There are a couple of heavy ones on there, but a lot of the songs have at least a line or two in it that has kind of a twinkle in the eye of the narrator. I just like that tone.
Logan, th thanks for doing this. Your tour starts of the Midwest Thursday, February 19th at Green River Recordings in Minneapolis, Minnesota, with a special guest, the Daily Norm, who's also really impressive.
Yes, it's awesome.
Um, and it's gonna be you solo. Doors 6:30 p.m. $20 to get in, and then you can go to your website for further dates. Correct?
That's right. Yeah, come on out. I'm uh, in Minneapolis Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Got shows, and you know, if you're in Wisconsin, come on out to Appleton. That's going to be a really good one. Rockford, Illinois. Gotta get some people out to that one too. And so, but yes, the tour starts on Thursday. It's gonna be great.
And starting Thursday, will people be able to get the EP in physical form, or is that can be a little bit?
Yes, yes, that, and it's the only way you can get it. I will have the discs printed come Thursday.
All right. Well, again, Logan, thanks. This has been another episode of The Hook, brought to you by Adventures Americana. I'm Andy Ellis. See you next time, everyone.